Hello, Sunflower Hill friends, community, program participants. It's Teacher Becca, and I am coming to you live from the Sunflower Hill Garden. And I'm really excited that you're joining me today for our lesson together. Before we get started, I thought I would take a quick moment, since you can't be here with me today, to show you around a little bit of what I'm looking at right now and what you would normally be looking at if you were sitting here with me. Do you want to take a look? All right, so if you are looking at me right now, you can tell that I am in the outdoor classroom. I have the large oak tree behind me and above me. I'm really hoping Shadow the cat doesn't go up there and knock any of those galls down on my head. That would be not good, but she's been known to do it before. As I look out, I'm looking at the stumps and I'm noticing that they're empty. This is where you guys would normally be sitting and joining me here today, or Teacher Abby or Farmer Caitlin. So this is where you'd be sitting with me. And if you were sitting here, you'd also be noticing that there are some things growing in the raised garden boxes next to us. I think we should take a look because they're looking really lovely and really yummy. All right, we ventured over to the raised boxes here, and I'm noticing that there is a green food growing here up on a vine. But not only is it growing on a vine, the vine is being held up by something even stronger than the vine. It's called a trellis. Do you notice it in there? It's silver and made of metal. A trellis is any kind of support that helps hold something up. So this kind of plant growing on a vine gets really heavy when the food grows in, and it can't stand up on its own to grow strong and healthy. So we put in a trellis. This one is made of metal. They could also be made of wood and string. And the vine will creep up on that trellis, and it'll hold it up nice and strong and tall so that it can grow in. Now, as you're looking at this food, are you noticing that it looks familiar? What kind of food do we have growing here? All right, if you said snap pea, you would be correct. This is a green snap pea, and it's growing so healthy. I'm gonna see if we can see even more of them on there. Oh, I see more growing down here, some hanging down below. I think I'm gonna go ahead and harvest one and show you. I'm gonna take a small one off, snap it right off. Oh, look at it. It's a snap pea smile. All right, I'm gonna break it away in half. I want you to listen and see if you can hear it. Did you hear it snap? Snap, and then there's the pea right inside, hiding inside. The seed is surrounded by the pod. Now I'm gonna eat it. It's delicious. Do you like snap peas? I love them. So today, in our activity, we are going to be drawing a garden. And in our drawing activity, you will notice that one of our plants we're going to draw requires a trellis. So keep in mind the snap peas that we just took a peek at, the metal wire structure that it was holding up the vines, as well as we talked about how a trellis doesn't have to be made out of metal, though it can. It can also be made of wood and string to help that grow strong and tall on a vine. Remember that, it's going to be really important later when we draw together. All right, so are you guys ready to draw a garden with me? I'm back home where I'm going to draw my garden right here on my large white piece of paper. As a reminder for those of you doing this activity with me at your home, some supplies that you'll need is a white piece of paper. 8.5 by 11 works. It can have lines or no lines. Mine is a big piece of paper, so it's easier for you to see. You'll also either need a pencil, a pen, or a marker, something that you can write and draw with. Today, I'm going to be using a black marker, but what you should know if you choose to use a black marker is that a marker does not erase. So whatever marks I put on my page up here, I'm going to have to be happy with. If you are choosing to use a pencil has an eraser. So if you're somebody who's not always happy with the first marks that you put on a paper, you can feel free to use a pencil at home, and then you can erase it and make it the way that you'd like it to be before you're finished with your drawing. Okay? I'm going to be giving you directions and step-by-step instructions on how to build the garden, and we're going to build a garden together, planting the same types of food together. But if you feel like there are other additions that you'd like to make, I want you to feel comfortable to do that as well. All right? Additionally, aside from your paper and your writing utensil, if you'd like to have colored pencils or markers or crayons nearby to color in at the end, that would be wonderful. I will likely color mine in so that you can see what it looks like as well at home. Are you ready to get started? Okay, so take your white piece of paper, and I'd like for you to hold it up, and we are going to turn it so it is up and down long ways, all right? And you can set it down on the table in front of you, and that's where you're going to do your artwork. Now today, in the garden, we are going to be planting food that needs to grow tall and strong. So before we can plant our food in the garden, we need to create a garden space that is rich with things that are important in helping a seed to grow. So I know that there are 3 really important things a seed needs to grow tall and strong so that you and I can eat it later. Okay, so we're going to start by adding those to our garden. The first thing we're going to add is down low. It's called the earth or the soil. That is where our seed goes. So I'm going to take my hand. On my paper, I'm going to put my earth and soil down at the bottom. So I'm going to put my hand at the bottom of my paper. And I'm going to jump up just about, not halfway, a little bit lower than halfway. And I'm going to take my marker and make a line for the earth. And I know that the earth is not flat. So it's okay to give it some squiggles or bumps. So I'm going to go from one side of my paper to the other side of my paper. That is my earth line, or the soil. And now down here, this is the rich soil of the earth where our seed is going to grow and get nutrients and grow roots strong to hold it in the ground while it grows for us to eat later. So I'm going to label this soil so I remember what it is. Soil. S-O-I-L. Soil. That is one of the things that a seed needs to grow strong and healthy. That's from the earth. There is another thing, the second thing, that is really important for seeds to grow strong and healthy, and that comes from up high in the sky. Can you guess what it is? I'll give you some hints. It's usually round. That's how I picture it, at least. Although when I look at it, it's hard to see it because it's so bright and so shiny. And this bright, shiny, circle-shaped thing in the sky gives us warmth. Did you guess the sun? If so, you would be right. We're going to add a sunshine. I'm going to go to the top of my paper, and you can either do it on this corner, in the middle, or the far corner. I'm going to put mine on this corner here. And I said that it was a circle, so that's what I'm going to draw. Going up to the top, I'm going to draw a circle, and I know that that will be my sun. But you might look at your circle and say, it's missing something. Usually, my sun that I draw, I picture having rays of sunshine coming out of it. And you can do that a couple ways. I'm going to add little bursts of sunshine, little lines for my sunshine rays. But if you know how you like to draw a sun, make it your own. Let's add sunshine rays. I'm going to do some big and little, and big and little, big, little. It's a pattern. Big, little, big, little. Those are my sunshine rays. And just like I labeled soil so I'd remember what it was, I'm going to write the word sun. It starts with the same letter as soil. S-U-N. Sun. Soil to help the roots grow strong and tall and give it nutrients for our plant. Sun to help warm it up and bring it to life. And there's one other thing that it needs. Remember, I said there were 3. Soil, sun. The next thing also comes from the sky. I'll give you some hints. It's not always just a circle shape, though it could be. This thing comes in different shapes and sizes, okay? And from this thing that we're gonna draw in the sky, this stuff comes out of it. It's wet. We drink it just like plants drink it. Did you say water? If so, you would be right. Water is important and necessary for seeds and plants to grow strong and healthy. So we're gonna add something in the sky called a cloud that rain or water will come down on our plants from. Now, I like making clouds because there's no right way to do it. Clouds comes in all shapes and sizes. I'm just gonna make mine with a bunch of little bumps, all right? I'm gonna make mine in the center of my paper. I'm gonna go bump, 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 bump. There's my cloud. And now I'm going to add small raindrops. They're gonna go down, loop, and around. Down, loop, and around. Down, loop, and around. Down, loop, and around. If you want to add more rain, you're welcome to. What's important though is to keep this area open because that's where our plants are going to grow tall and strong. Now we labeled soil, we labeled sun. Next we're going to label this water. W-A-T-E-R. Now the reason we say water and not rain is because there are parts of the country, specifically California, in the summer when a lot of our crops grow in a garden outside where it does not rain. Water does not come from the sky very often in the summer in some places. So we give water to plants in a lot of different ways. It could come from the sky, like rain. It could also come from a hose that you turn on and spray. You could also fill a watering can or bucket and pour it on. There's so many ways to give plants water. All right, soil, sun, and water. Those are three important things to help a plant grow. All right, are you ready to plant and draw our garden? I am. I'm getting hungry kind of thinking about it. As I was thinking about what plants I would plant in my garden, I was thinking about what kinds of plants I like to eat. And maybe you're thinking about the same things. What food grows from the earth that we like to eat and enjoy? The first kind of food we're going to plant in our garden today is a root. Now roots, we mentioned, are under the earth. You can't see them when you're walking above land. They're growing down beneath the earth and they're holding the plant in place. And some roots are edible, roots that we get to eat and enjoy. The root vegetable that I'm thinking of is orange. You might already know it. That was like the best clue ever. It's orange and it makes a chomping sound whenever you crunch on it. It's really good. Rabbits like to eat it. Did you guess carrots? You probably did. Those were some good clues. We're gonna plant some carrots in our garden and they grow below the earth. I'm gonna show you a picture of what they look like. This is a picture of carrots. Now you might notice that carrots are long and skinny. This one is skinny. This one's kind of fat, so they come in all shapes and sizes. I'm also gonna bring you up close because they have some little details on them, little lines going across. They're not perfect. Really nothing is. So let's draw some carrots. We know they're roots, so they grow under the earth. So they're gonna be growing down in here in our soil. I'm gonna draw over here next to the word soil. I'm gonna start at the soil line and I'm gonna go out and down to a point. That's part of my carrot. To make the other side, I'm gonna go back up to the earth line and I'm gonna go out and back down to the point. That's one carrot. Now, a lot of times carrots grow in bundles together. I'm gonna give it another carrot growing next to it. So I'm gonna go back up here and I'm going to make a bump out and down and around to a point. My second one is gonna kind of hide underneath this first carrot, so you don't see all of it. Now we're going to go back and add those small little detail lines to make it look more real. Little detail lines are not perfect either. So I'm just going to do a little swoop, swoop, little lines here and there to make it look a little more real. I'm going to add those to both of my carrots. There we go. Now, if this carrot was actually growing in the garden right now, if we were walking up here, we wouldn't even see it because there's nothing right now growing on top of the earth that we could see with our eyes. And I don't see carrots when they're growing in the ground without a clue on top of the earth. Roots are growing first, and that's our carrot. Next, we're going to draw some stems and leaves above the earth, and that's our clue in the garden that something important is growing down below. So we are going to add these stems with little leaves. All right, so let's do that now. I'm going to add 3 stems for this first carrot. 1, 2, 3. And the other carrot buddy, he needs some stems too, so we don't forget about him under the earth. 1, 2, 3. Stems, when they're really healthy, also have little leaves growing on them. So I'm going to do some small little leaves on the side. 1, 2. I'm just kind of going out and in, out and in. Nothing important or fancy here. Just a couple little details to make it look more real. There we go. Those are looking like some healthy carrots. They're really big too. All right, so we've got carrots, and those were a root kind of food growing under the earth. Next, we're gonna plant something that's going to grow above the earth where we'll be able to see it. And if you think back to what I showed you in the beginning, in the garden at Sunflower Hill, we looked at some special green foods that were growing on a vine right next to the teaching area. I even snapped one in front of you. Do you remember what it was called? Snap peas, yes! I kind of gave it away, didn't I? Here's a picture of what it looks like. Sugar snap peas were growing on a vine, and when I showed you sugar snap peas at Sunflower Hill Garden, we took special notice of something else that was in that raised box with them, helping those vines to grow tall and strong. It was made of metal, but we also noticed that it could also be made of wood and string. Do you remember what that special, strong support thing is called? A trellis! Good job, you guys. You were paying attention. Yes, we are going to draw a trellis in our garden for this next kind of food. But it's not gonna be a snap pea. That means other things grow on trellises. All right, let's get our trellis made so that our food can grow onto it. I'm gonna draw a trellis that's made of wood and string. So I'm gonna go in the middle here, okay, over from my carrots. And my wood trellis is gonna grow tall, up, down, and I'm actually gonna make it go down into the earth also because it needs to stand strong and the earth helps to give it structure. Then I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna draw another one next to it. It's almost like a ladder going up, and then it's gonna go down below the earth so it stays nice and strong. Wow, it looks kind of leaning. Maybe it's a windy day in the garden. Okay, so we have our 2 wood structures. Next, we're going to add the string going across, kind of like the rungs of a ladder, and that way the vine can hold on as it gets taller and grows upward in the sunshine. I'm gonna do a string across here, and here, and here. Those are my strings. It really does look like a ladder, doesn't it? All right, so that is our trellis, the support structure for the food that will grow there soon. Now, this kind of food, I said, is not a snap pea. But like a snap pea, it needs a trellis because it grows on a vine. You might be thinking of a lot of different foods right now. Many things grow on a vine. Let me give you some more clues. This kind of food is often round, although not always perfectly round. And they come in big round circles. They come in really big round circles. And they also come in tiny little round circles. They can be yellow. What could it be? They could also be red. They could be purple, they could be green, they could be a mixture of those colors all in the same round food that's growing. I like to eat this thing by itself or with mozzarella cheese. You might also like to eat it on pasta. We use it in spaghetti sauce, and we also use it and spread it on pizza before we sprinkle the cheese. Yes, if you said a tomato, you would be right. We are gonna plant tomatoes in our garden, and they are gonna grow strong and tall on our trellis. Let me show you a picture. Now, like I said, tomatoes come in all shapes and sizes. I see some green ones right back here. See some big round ones, little yellow ones. Wow, those are not perfectly circle, are they? Remember that when we draw, it doesn't have to be perfect. But what they do grow on, we will need to include a vine, and it's gonna have some leaves. Oh, look, I even see yellow flowers. Now, tomatoes are the fruit part of the plant. Carrots were the root. Tomatoes are the fruit. That's really cool, root and fruit. So we're gonna go ahead and draw a tomato plant. The first thing that's going to grow is going to be our roots down in the ground. So I'm gonna draw 2 plants. So I'm gonna have 2 bundles of roots. And roots aren't fancy. They're just little squiggly lines here to hold my plant in the ground. I'm gonna get you a little bit closer. Okay, nothing fancy. It gets the job done. Set you back up. Once you have your roots, we're gonna draw our stems going up. Now, vines don't grow straight. They wiggle and they squiggle and they hold on to the trellis. So I'm gonna wrap my vines in and out around my trellis. This tomato plant's gonna go up and loop, 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 loop. Okay? My second one's gonna go similar. It's gonna go loop. Ooh, he's a squiggle back and forth. Wow, that was cool. Now we have our vine. Now we need to add our fruit, so our round circles, and some leaves. I'm gonna have this plant here be a big tomato plant. So I'm gonna make some big circles for this tomato plant. And then for this one over here, I'm gonna make the little cherry tomatoes, those like little yellow ones we looked at. So I'm gonna draw some smaller ones. Okay, next I'm gonna go in and add leaves, kind of how I made my leaves on my carrot. And you can add them wherever you would like. It's your drawing. No right way, no wrong way. Awesome. And that is our tomato plant. Now you're probably thinking, wow, that looks really kind of boring right now, black and white. Or maybe you're looking at it and saying, wow, I really like how it's black and white. My imagination can color it in. Either way is fine. I'm gonna color mine in at the end to show you what it might look like when we did it. But if you're already doing that at home because you like to see the process, you can feel free to be coloring it in as we're working together, and that's okay. All right, now I have room on this side here, and I said we were gonna plant 3 things. So I'm gonna plant one more item in our garden. But if you have more room and you wanna add other foods that you and your family like to eat together, save some space or go back in later and add other foods. It's totally up to you. It's your garden. Okay, so the next kind of food that we're gonna plant is also gonna be above the ground, so not a root. So we're gonna see it if we were walking along the earth. And this kind of food comes in all shapes and sizes too. And you might be noticing that I'm saying that about a lot of things. Well, that's the really cool thing about plants, kind of like people, right? We're all different. We all have our own unique ways to do things and special gifts and talents, and we don't all look the same, and that's kind of why it's so great. We're all unique, just like the food that grows in the garden. It's all unique. This kind of food, actually, I was gonna say I like to put it on my sandwich, but that's not true. I don't really like to put it on my sandwich, but I know a lot of people who do. Oftentimes it's crunchy, though it can be softer as well because there's different varieties. I sometimes like to wrap meat and cheese in it without bread and make it my sandwich. You might just like to eat it all by itself with some other vegetables and maybe ranch dressing or something else on top of it. Ooh, it's really good on tacos too when you shred it up. It can be green, light green, dark green. It can be yellowish. It can even be purple. This comes in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Are you thinking about this? Lettuce! Oh, lettuce. All right, now lettuce comes in all those different ways, all right? So this is iceberg lettuce, and this is more your crunchy, and it's kind of whitish, yellow, and green on the top, okay? And when you chop it open, it's like a wedge, just like that. It also comes in romaine, a little bit leafier, not so stiff, not so yellowish. Big open leaves at the top, more of a deep green. Okay, maybe that's what you're picturing. You might also be picturing some smaller varieties of leaf, all right? Now I didn't show you any purple ones, but trust me, sometimes there's purple. All right, so I'm gonna draw a lettuce on the side here. Now what I know about lettuce is it has lots of different leaves going up. So as we draw it, it won't look like lettuce right away. Not till we're all done will it really look like lettuce, so bear with me, okay? So I'm gonna start over here on the earth, and I'm just gonna kind of go out and up. And I saw that lettuce at the top was kind of wavy, so I'm gonna make my top of my lettuce kind of wavy too. I'm gonna do just a little bit of wave, and then I'm gonna go back down to the earth. Told you, it wasn't gonna look like lettuce, but I'm not done. We're gonna add some more lettuce leaves, just like this. Up, a little bit of squiggle wiggle, and back down. I'm gonna add some in the middle, squiggle wiggle, and back down. I'm gonna add some more over here, squiggle wiggle, back down. I'm gonna make one in the middle. It's gonna be bigger. And then I'm gonna add some to the outside also. Going back. What does your lettuce look like? Now, as I step away from it, I still don't think it looks a lot like lettuce. But it will when I add more color to it, because color gives it depth and variety. I'm also noticing as I look back that it doesn't have any roots. Man, if the wind came right now, it'd blow it away. We gotta give it roots down in the soil. So we're gonna add some roots down here to hold our lettuce plant, because we don't want to lose that guy. We're going to eat it later. Not really. I know this isn't real food. All right, so we have carrots, a root growing down in the soil. We have trellises helping our tomato vines to grow tall and strong. That is the fruit part of the plant because it protects the seed inside. And then we have lettuce. And we didn't talk about this, but the lettuce that we eat is the leaf part of the vegetable. So we've got roots, fruits, and leaves in our garden today. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start adding some color to mine. I am gonna make my carrots orange, but did you know that carrots don't have to be orange? That's just kind of like what we think about. I'm using crayons, and I'm gonna use different kinds of orange. Carrots can be white. What? White carrots? That's so cool. They can be yellow, like sunflower hill sunflowers. Did you know that they can even be purple? Purple carrots? Have you ever eaten a purple carrot? If you haven't, that'd be a really cool thing to try with your family during shelter in place. Maybe the next time you get some carrots from the grocery store, you'll venture and try a new color. I'd be curious to know what you think. Do they taste the same? Do they taste different? Which do you like more? I've actually eaten a purple carrot, and I thought they were delicious. All right, there's my carrots, but I'm also gonna color my stems going up, and my stems are gonna be green. And again, green can be any kind of shade. So I've got a dark and I have kind of a bright green. I'm gonna color my leaves. Different shades of green. No special way to do it. I'm gonna switch over to this one. And my stems are still black with the marker, but you might want to color over your black stems and make those green as well. Maybe you want to add a little bit of color right over the top of it, and that's okay too. These are your carrots, so you can color them however you'd like. There we go. All right, I'm going to take you a little bit closer. And then we're going to color our tomatoes. What color tomatoes will you plant? Here's my carrots. Now, I planted big red tomatoes. They're not red yet, but they're going to be. So I'm going to get red. What's interesting about crayons is, like, I'll pull out a red and start using it, and it'll look way more purple. They all have, like, well, of course, I actually picked red. That is so surprising. Usually it's like pink red or fuchsia or purple red. Fuchsia, here we go. All right, so I'm gonna use regular red for my big tomatoes. I'm gonna make those guys real red because they are ready to harvest, which means pick, so we can eat them. All right, color that guy in and that guy. Oh, they're looking so good. I only put 4 on mine. Did you have more? My little ones, I'm gonna color yellow. They are really, really yummy, the yellow ones. Of course, I can't find a yellow. Oh, there's a yellow. It's called canary, like a bird. See? All right, so I'm gonna color my little ones yellow. Now, canary, you're not very bright yellow. My friends might not be able to see it at home. I might have to go back later and pick a brighter yellow. Canary birds must be light yellow. Maybe that's what they meant. There we go. These are sun gold yellow canary tomatoes. We plant these a lot at our garden in Sunflower Hill. I actually have them growing here at my house too. All right, so next on my tomato vines, I need to draw and color in, color my leaves. I'm gonna go back to those 2 greens that I was using over here. And I'm gonna color these guys in. Now, the other thing that we noticed when we looked at our picture that I showed you of the tomatoes, we also noticed that there was a little yellow flower there. Flowers on a plant will grow oftentimes before the fruit part of the plant grows. So, on a tomato vine, we'd have the roots, then the squiggly stem, and the leaves. Then we'd have the yellow flower like we saw there, and after the yellow flower, it would be a clue that the fruit was going to be growing next. So if you planted tomatoes in your home garden and you notice that there's no yellow or red fruits yet, but you notice yellow flowers, it's a clue that the fruit is coming soon, so you're on the right track. All right, so that's my leaves. I'm also gonna color my trellis brown. Let's see what color I find in my crayons. Am I gonna find brown, do you think? Or am I gonna find something that's kind of like brown? All right, I found raw sienna and I found chestnut. So we're gonna kind of combine those. They're both sort of like brown. Oh, chestnut. You're exactly like brown. I like it. So I'm gonna color this wooden part of my trellis brown. All the way down here, and I'm going to color the other wooden part of my trellis. All the way down here. There we go. While I'm down here and I have my brown, I'm going to make my roots. I'm just going to kind of shade over them. Even roots are colorful under the ground. Brown or black. There we go. All right. That leaves us with our lettuce, and you're probably thinking, wow, I can't wait for you to add color to it, and then maybe it will look like real lettuce. So let's do that. When we looked at our picture of lettuce, we noticed that it's not always each leaf one color. It's kind of a variety. So I'm gonna have a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white, and then I'm gonna have some green on mine. Why don't you play around and see what kind of lettuce leaves you will make? All right, let's see what kind of greens I can find. I'm gonna try to find something new that's different than what I did for my my leaves and my stems. Ooh, I found yellow green. That's kind of perfect. I found jungle green. I wonder what that'll look like. And I'm also gonna pull out some yellow. Let's see, I could use canary or I could use, ooh, this one's called laser lemon. Let's try it. I'm going to make the bottomish part of mine, wow, jungle green. Kind of looks like a little bluish green. I would have named it something different. I'm gonna color the bottoms kind of this color. And then I'm gonna go back and add some other greens on it. This is called like layering. Now if you're a seasoned artist at home, I am not. I like to draw, but you might have some techniques of your own that you're using today. I can't wait to see what your pictures look like afterward. All right, I'm gonna color this guy a little bit higher with green. Notice I'm going back over my jungle green because it was kind of a little bit bluish for my take. So I'm gonna make it a little more green. Ooh, I kind of like what's happening here. The color looks so rich. Wow. Maybe I should start putting it on my sandwich. It looks so good growing in my garden. Now I'm gonna add my laser yellow to the top just to give it a little bit of interest as you look at it. And because we know that lettuce leaves are all varieties of colors. Oh, I forgot that whole piece of lettuce there. Did you notice that I totally didn't color this guy? Let's go back and do that quickly. Get my greens. And my yellow. Nice, wow, it looks so much better. How is your lettuce looking at home? All right, I'm gonna go back and shade over my lettuce roots as well. And then I'm gonna pick up the screen and let you get a little closer to see what it looks like. Wow, I'm really happy with this. Now that our food's colored, let me show you. The last couple things I wanna color are my sun and my rain water coming down from my clouds. Wow. I am really impressed with myself. I hope you are too, really loving your drawing. You're drawing a garden. All right, so let's go to our sun. Now, when I think of the sun, I think of yellow, but I also know that throughout the day, the sun changes colors. So it can be like an orangish, reddish, yellowish thing. So why don't you color it how you'd like to do it? I'm gonna do yellows and oranges, I think. Maybe a little red later. All right. I'm gonna make the bottom this yellowish orange. Oh, are you wondering what color crayon I'm using? What other crazy name Crayola came up with? This one's called Unmellow, like not mellow yellow. And then we have Vivid Tangerine and Laser Lemon again. All right, so there's my Unmellow yellow. Looking good. I'm gonna add some orange over it. Maybe this is like the early evening sun. Oh, that looks good. I'm also gonna color my rays of sunshine. I'm just gonna go over them. Give them a little bit of yellow. Looks good. All right, now I know that clouds are not really blue, but that's always what I picture them because sometimes coloring white is hard. So I'm going to just lightly color with blue with ceruleum. Ooh, that's a fancy name for a blue. I'm gonna lightly color just a little bit so that you can see it at home. And then for my rain, I'm gonna make it more dark blue. I'm just gonna color it in a little, push on my crayon a little bit harder. I'm using the same one for my cloud. There's my water. My crayon kind of sprinkled, woo, kind of sprinkled down. All right, should we take a look? And there's my garden. Now before we go, I want to teach you something that I use in my life to help me remember things. Today, what I'd like you to remember are the three important things that are necessary or important to help a seed grow. And those are the soil, the sun, and the water. So when I am learning something, I often like to make it to a song. Happy birthday, for example. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear. And you guys would be able to sing the rest of it. And you probably learned that when you were really, really little, and you still have it in your brain. It helps you remember. So today I'm going to teach you a quick song that will help you remember what are important things for a seed to grow, and maybe one day you'll plant your own garden at your house. All right, so a seed needs three things. It needs water, sun, and soil. And the song goes like this. It's actually similar tune, same tune as The Farmer in the Dell, but I changed the words. It goes like this. A seed needs three things. A seed needs three things. Water, sun, and soil. A seed needs three things. I'm going to do it 2 more times, and if you pick it up, you can be singing it with me at home. A seed needs three things. A seed needs three things. Water, sun, and soil. A seed needs three things. One more time. A seed needs three things. A seed needs three things. Water, sun, and soil. A seed needs three things. I hope that you enjoyed drawing your garden with me today, and I hope that you'll join us again for another activity in the future. If you also finished your artwork, I would love to see it. So please join us on Facebook or Instagram, or even send us an email to info@sunflowerhill.org with your completed photo, because we'd love to share in what kind of food you're growing at your garden. I was happy to see you. Bye.